Who is running up tonight? In fact, Carthage. They're going to bring in Flare, Nairomi, and Pixeler.
Yeah, these three coming in as a sophomore, junior, freshman, respectively. So, this team's trying to get on the pitch. Junior. I got that all wrong. Junior, for Flare and Nairobi, respectively. So, a lot of experience here on the pitch for sure. You know, you have those juniors who have been there, have been able to balance the likes of not only your games, but also your studies as well. It takes a lot at the collegiate level. And so, for these players, they'll be able to give experience with the newbies that come into the program as well in Carthage, which is a good one for sure. But we got Illinois State University Black on the other side as well. And, you know, coming in with this team, DF Ludi, you've got Ace, and you've got Gucci. So all three of these members trying to mesh early. Again, they've 1-0. I believe it's 0-2 on this season for them specifically. So look at the bounce back here and really see if they can be that trio that they themselves know they can be.
Yeah, and of course, you know, these are the early weeks. I memed earlier about the fact that, you know, it's over if you're losing right now. No, you can actually be able to make a big comeback. I've seen, 4-3, 5-3 records. They make playoffs, but you also, I think, go from a top 4 of each of these divisions. That was actually a game changer for playoff contention and eligibility for the NECC going into the previous semester, and I believe some of that is still bleeding over into this one, and that really does drive stakes because instead of saying, well, you know, I'm going to miss this game. Nah, you better be ready because we're going to be moving into it, especially as we now go onto the pitch. And blue is going to be the Redbirds, and orange is going to be the Firebirds, and I hope you guys are ready for some bird watching.
It's definitely going to be played in the sky. That's for sure, the Champions Division. We already know that's a fact. And also, Ace not getting the call. It'll be T-Rex in their place. We'll get to see on the pitch here. So, a different trio than anticipated, but nonetheless. I mean, all 5 members of this team, they're a deep team, by the way. I mean, anybody can be a difference maker. Look at that bump out in front. Nairobi, somehow the demo fooled me. I thought that was a goal, but they were able to get it across in time. It's a big save from Illinois State off the bat.
I kind of hope they eventually make a goal explosion that's just a demo poof. That'd be fantastic. I want to see that. But it's been a lot of demos, a lot of fist fighting happening right now. And again, we saw that game number 1. This is a double commit of space and a triple commit for the challenge. It ends up being boomed to the other side of the pitch. But I'm a little concerned just in this early minute. You got to see teams, of course, in this first game find their footing. And right now, Illinois State needs to do that by basically being extended downfield.
Got to be able to balance it. Find approaches, find attacks, but also be responsible defensively. And right now it has been a bloodbath. Another demo. Now shot taken a little high. Oh, Carthage felt like you needed that one. But instead this will fall back all the way to Nairobi, and we'll start there. Look at the challenge all the way to the ceiling. Gucci was trying to cause some chaos there from Nairobi. But all it really did was delay their push out. But now T-Rex will launch it directly back in here for Illinois State Black. And this one will find its way to the top of the box, but no shot taken. Instead, it'll be the Firebirds back out in a wide open gauge, and they'll tap that one in loosely. Nairobi, the first on the board, draws first blood for the Firebirds.
I don't hate the initial idea. They were trying to get this to D-Flutie and immediately just try to be able to turn it in, because that would have been a banger if they could get underneath the ball, kind of scoop it and dupe it right underneath the crossbar, or at least on the backboard, but end up finding no power and no purchase. So this one, it wasn't quite the inevitability I thought it to be, because Carthage looked nasty early in this game, but Illinois State was really starting to extend the pitch. Instead, they get caught just not looking.
And that's what happens when you try to overcompensate to some degree. When you try to convert to offense, sometimes you get a little bit out of place. And that's what I was talking about when I do call out the responsibility of defensive rotations. You have to be on point from the get-go. Otherwise, you see those wide-open nets. That's something you don't like to see, especially at the champions level. This one will roll out. Illinois State having a chance to push their foot down to the metal, but now it's directed directly back in. The Firebirds will try to settle here, but Illinois State back across. T-Rex the only one on the opposite side. A good find on the assist from D. Floody, and T-Rex does the rest.
Now that was an initial push. I was wondering where'd the second man go? Did they get bounced out because it looked like they felt like the cheat was going to happen and they'd be able to move up? But there was no coverage in the box, especially when the first man to touch it was actually to the backboard. So that is actually a big mistake out of Carthage if it was unforced error. But Illinois, they're at least going to prime up T-Rex, who is in fact that other junior that was in replacement of the initial ace roster position. So Like to see that kind of maintained experience and veteranship really lasting here as Carthage is really under fire.
Yeah, they now will at least be able to transition back out. This is a good passing play. Floody with a good read, but he left it out in front, and Flair tried to jump to it, but T-Rex able to get up and get that challenge. There's been a couple of plays where T-Rex has been able to jump in and make a little bit of a difference. Now you see T-Rex again. The pass across, but try to extend the pitch twice. Don't really want to do that, but luckily T-Rex, the touch actually finds Gucci on the way down, and he's able to just settle it down, but not for long. Here comes Carthage again. Shot taken, dunked, but it's not in. Instead, it'll bounce off of that crossbar. But Carthage continues to press in from a nasty angle, but Floody shuts it down again. Illinois State just back and forth. Desperation keeping the ball out of the net.
I mean, desperation, defense, and denial. 3 Ds, and that's actually the amount of times that they're able to get big stops here onto Carthage Firebirds. And again, we go into the offensive process, trying to rotate this right side post. Flair's going to be looking for at least a push. Oh, and maybe, if they hadn't gone for a bump, could have been looking for a soft redirect, but they're getting punched out of the way. It has been non-stop attack here, Bear, by Carthage, and they just can't push their way through. Illinois, they've been able to persist, but can they resist for much longer?
Flair got a little bit ahead of himself there, but it's been not only just challenging it in really aggression from the shot standpoint, also from those bumps and demos, the physicality is noticeable from the Firebirds. Perhaps that's why they call you the Firebirds. They launch you up in flames and then launch you to the other side to respawn. The demos have been absolutely devastating for Illinois State, but still, even still, tied at 1. Illinois State has done just enough to keep themselves dead even. But the Firebirds are trying to answer that call. Here's Gucci, though. He'll transition it out. Floody to follow up as well. That touch, not the best one. He left it for a teammate here. Now a challenge there at midfield. Pixlr able to send it forward. Down to 9 seconds left. Has a suspicious amount of room here. And allows Flair to get it back down. Directs it directly down to Carthage. This will be up in the air, but a misread there. And I don't think he'll be able to find the angle. And T-Rex just wants it out. And only get as far as midfield with 0 seconds left. T-Rex trying to press in and now pops it high instead. Not the right decision. T-Rex now tries to find the foot reset, but it hits the ground. Not able to incorporate it, and we have overtime in game number 1.
Oof, goodness, Bear. I mean, this seems to be a soft replay of what we had in game 1 of our previous series, but with a way different set of stakes, I guess, as both these squads looking for that big dub to come out here in week number 3. And it's been kind of crazy right now for the defense of Illinois State. They've not exactly found a consistency factor. And Flair now in a one-on-one as they do at least beat the first man. And that's just going to be a bowler straight through. Carthage finishing what they had started, take the momentum, and they win in OT.
And T-Rex had the right idea, and it was a great transition to jump back out towards the ball. Unfortunately, got a little bit too far above it where they wanted to be, and just kind of
rung true for the side of Illinois State, and that was possibly on a forced defensive error by Carthage, and otherwise they just kept battering at the door of Illinois State. I want to see what kind of identity we can get out of this team if they can just establish upfield presence much more purposely and much earlier, because that seemed to be, absolutely missing. You're seeing now T-Rex being bared down upon, but Gucci is actually going to relieve some of that pressure, and it becomes a pass to his teammate. Immediately challenge. Oh, Flair just couldn't quite make the interior read, but look at these demos. It is a derby out here.
Oh, good pass and read there from the shot as well. Check this one out again as Pixlr went up, and it seemed like a free net, yes, but you had to be right on point as far as where you're directing that, because Carthage, well, you had your striker there in the box, and you had to meet him mid-air for that passing play. That was clean, a 1-0 lead here for the Firebirds.
That's one of those that has to have comms and cannot just be in pure hype mode and as just hive-minded. You gotta have it drawn up, and it's obvious that this team has had a lot of reps together. So good looks by Carthage as they just keep this offensive campaign going, trying to bump into Guchu's backside. Guchu is actually going to return some of that speed into the way of Nyrome, and that should be a clear. There's T-Rex looking for at least a big body to put onto it, but Flutie is at least doing just enough to keep this one upfield. Illinois State got to feel kind of somewhat, I guess, happy that they're able to at least not be in their own back half.
for once, finally relieved. Ooh. Yeah, you can feel just the weight of the world fall off here. Illinois State looking to transition D-Flight, the one to try to start it up, crank it up, but Flair was there in the corner to meet it. T-Rex going to use that corner to pop it high, but it really just favors Carthage and the Firebirds. Only temporarily, though. That one's going to waterfall its way back down. And it felt like the read was there for Illinois State, but Carthage was able to read it as well and did just enough to chop at it. And Nyrome will get it out of the zone. Force it back pass here for Illinois State. Back down, though, Carthage on this one, too. Flair looked like he was going to be able to get up and get that double touch, but was well off the mark. And this will just play into possession of Illinois State.
This is starting to feel eerily similar to game number 1, Bear. I feel like we're just stuck in a time vortex. What a doink! What a setup! Oh, man, it's going to be denied! It gets bonked away from the crossbar. They're sending everything, the kitchen sink, and maybe a whole heckin' lot of Firebirds to try and finish it off, but they just couldn't finish the play.
Oh, they were that close. Knocking on the doorstep again, trying to find that cushion. But the Floody now in Illinois State need that answer back. T-Rex tried to start it up, but Pixlr to find it. Nyrome. This one falls into the hands of Pixlr yet again. A lot of room to work with. Tried the fake there, but wise to it was the defensive Illinois State Black, as they are still in their corner, though, being hemmed in their zone, and that's a similar story we've seen basically this entire series.
Yeah, it's been tough. They've found a couple little cracks, little creases to kind of sneak their way through, but nothing consistent enough for me to say that they are at least finding a purposeful method to getting into the Carthage back end. 120 seconds remaining. Chaos as Nyrome is turned into a bumper car, unyielding to anyone that wants to turn him into traffic. D-Floody trying to at least get one more, but no. T-Rex will have to at least pre-jump away. That's going to become a boom to the backboard. And again, Pixlr there for the threaten. They will both jump, and that ends up being disruptive. Nyrome with the finisher, but check this one out at the goal line.
Yeah, it's the communication here between the two, because T-Rex was already up there. D-Floody, the comms have to be there because it didn't show up in the peripherals, so you can't really blame them if you're just visual, but that's where comms come in handy. So that miscommunication and the double jump there, it's not even as bad as a double commit, but it is in that certain situation where you have to be decisive. You have to have the comms, and they'll make them pay. I mean, Carthage has been opportunistic. Maybe another one here. Off the post it goes again. At least Illinois State's able to keep out of trouble for this one.
Oh, that should be free. Definitely is. Okay. And it's one of those where they just kind of mishandle it. This was actually a succession of mishandles, as you had D-Floody that was able to get a big boom, and that actually gave them such a bounce. It looked like they put on moon shoes and just leapt off of that demolition and ended up going all the way to the Firebird back half. So they at least cut this lead in half here, Bear, and this could be 1-4, getting it tied up. Can't quite get it from the kickoff.
And another challenge here from T-Rex. Stayed on the play. I like that. The quick turn rather than just defaulting out. Although to the corner it'll go, and Guchu had trouble getting around it here, but T-Rex is consented enough to just jump up in the challenge. Now the quarter plays high. D-Floody trying to press in as well. They've gotten as far as the box, but no real challenge goes on as the angle is too clean. Look as Nyrome goes up and over. Will force D-Floody to it, but you're in trouble. Almost shut the door again, but Pixlr's able to break through, and Carthage Firebirds Black able to get their 2-goal lead back.
You can stop the first, but not the second. Oh man, maybe even it was the third, the tertiary attempt that ended up crashing the gate on through. And that's unfortunate because they did find the initial stop, but they were hoping to get it on their nose. It ended up touching a tire and just kind of going out in front of the box, and that just gave a free look back to Carthage to really secure and seal the deal. A chance, T-Rex dropping it into the top of the box. They were trying to key up someone, but no one ever came.
They're just waiting and waiting, and not eventually when it comes, it does not come through. You have to get back in. That's what they did. Guchu leapt for T-Rex, had an opportunity to go back off that wall, but Flair said, nah, I'm good. Still in challenge mode is Illinois State Black, and they need to be here with 14 seconds left. And really the last opportunity here, Flair going to press the box. It should have been an ender. Still here, but Carthage Firebirds Black doing a good job to play keep away. Play a little HailMonkeyMan in the middle, if you will. And kills just enough time here. Carthage Firebirds Black will go to match point after that big win over Illinois State University Black.
They're definitely getting bullied as bad as I would in this lobby. And it's one of those situations
that comes in handy, right? You have your strikers, you have your guy that's like the setup man. Then you tend to go towards a roll. But for us, Carthage has been so balanced. You saw in that last game to head to match point that all three members, Flair, Nyrome, and Pixlr, all three got goals here, and they were all balanced. All but one assisted, so the team's really been getting at it here. As a whole, the rotation as a trio has been excellent. Right now, Illinois State's got an opportunity. It's pretty free here. Not sure what T-Rex was up there for. You got to rotate back, because now it's Gucci all by himself.
They're playing a combination of hopscotch and leapfrog. It was some playground antics going on between those two, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. Immediately, Nyrome has been looking for a chance to pass it to a teammate, and Nyrome has been very consistent for this squad on the side of Carthage to be able to get an opportunity for anyone to at least get a strike on target. Flair sends a corner, pretty default right now, but bit of a miss by Pixlr, and that's going to really charge the back line, and that's going to be a chance, and they will turn it in for the first time, I think, this entire series. Illinois State with a lead.
It is crazy to see that this is probably one of the easiest goals that we've ever seen in Champion. Just taken out of the play. I think a bump was the reason why the third wasn't there. Flair was way out of the picture. Nobody back defensively for the Firebirds, and Illinois State will definitely take those, especially when it's been so difficult to find their way around this Carthage Firebirds black defense. Now, for one of the rare moments where the Carthage Firebirds have been down here in this series, and you brought it up in the last match, I'll bring it up again. You know, sometimes it's a whole different mindset of positivity that comes through and can make you play a whole lot better if you play with the lead.
I mean, definitely. We just got to see a reverse sweep happen in the previous series. Great challenge, and so you want to run with some of that extra momentum. D. Floody is already in champion position as they're looking to get in the way. Have to trust in the second man, Pixlr. You can put a lot of trust in this player. They've been a key striker, I think, for this side. Nyrome, what a read. I would have dunked that in my own net, and they found a big clear off the crossbar.
Yeah, they almost did. Maybe even going for the psycho there. They just want to tilt back. And listen, if you're able to land that here in the Champions Division, I'm all for it, but maybe not the best moment. That's a zinger. Okay. The great read there from D. Floody, all the way from their own end to say, there is nobody back. We'll take that. Illinois State black, apparently the less you try, you know, all these easy goals have been the ones that they've been able to find. You know, you're pressing. But then when you just kind of relax and find ways around Carthage, which is just launching from your own end, you find ways to score. They got the 2-0 lead.
I mean, often when you have players that are acting at this high of a level and just this tight of a rotation, what seems to be difficult at times can just be so easy in others. It's been great looks at this point. We've also seen those nasty 2-0s, B2 to go. Nyrome, they cut it in half.
Illinois State, you got gifted a couple. The last thing you want to do is give them one here. I know it's awkward, the bounce, the 50-50. Credit them in the world, Carthage, for really forcing the issue there, but Illinois State has to hold strong, and Gucci just couldn't quite find that one. And the longer Carthage Firebirds stick around, the more and more we'll probably see them summon the game 1 and 2 Firebirds that we've seen. And in fact, Flair tried to get to it. That was a dangerous one, though, as they lost possession of it, but the third man back was a little bit far forward, almost towards midfield. They're luckily able to get back in time in rotation and settle down.
You can definitely tell that Carthage is still pretty confident. Oh, that one definitely should have been at least a more hot shot direct on target, as they've been able to key up some great passes, and they've been playing pretty loose at this point. Illinois State have not been able to do the exact same thing. Looking for a mid pass. It would end up being a shot as Gucci gets another save. And they're inviting some danger now as the Redbirds are seeing themselves stacked up like totem poles, but in their defensive half. One big touch here. Nyrome, they can't come away with some contact.
In Illinois State, we've said simplifying your gameplay is what you need to do, but instead you give it away. Pixlr able to equalize here. And now Carthage Firebirds black. Just a little bit of effort put in Illinois State's. They're going to see their lead evaporate here before their eyes.
Oh, boy. We've seen 2-0s become 3 the other way. Carthage has all the momentum, full sail right now. All win. This flock trying to just flap its way into a lead, take it away from the Redbirds if they can. Nice chip shot, Gucci acting from a deficit both in boost and position. That's a massive demo on to D. Floody. and now trying to do the same thing. Maybe against T-Rex, who kind of loses it in the breakaway, but that's actually going to be a shot as Guchu takes it just off to the near side post. And Carthage has done a great job about slowing down the game and playing for some of these passes.
Yeah, they've been very methodical in their passing decisions, and those queen passes to get it around the defense is always such a pleasure to watch. That bump, though, great up. Pixlr runs into T-Rex. He shields it back. Now Illinois State trying to get one back and does. The Dinosaur with the goal explosion to match. It's T-Rex to give Illinois State the lead back.
It almost feels just completely unfitting to not have the T-Rex like goal explosion coming up. That was historically accurate right there. You can ask your teachers. But T-Rex does in fact deny Carthage Firebirds from at least getting this lead as they're able to stop them at the door, plant them in their own back half. That is a shot over the top. T-Rex has to go up and find it.
Yeah, and he does. Able to look to settle it. Guchu looks so confident on that back post, guarding that defense, doesn't he? T-Rex, maybe not as comfortable, especially when that shot's coming at you at the speed of sound. But now it'll be Guchu again to settle it here for T-Rex. D-Floody, not sure how that worked. It got through after the 50-50 and demo had developed in what seemed like it was going to be a challenge. Carthage able to get this one back and equalize at 3 here with 32 seconds left.
Math is math. Find the angle, and then, of course, trust in a little bit of over-aggression for Illinois State, who has been feeling uncomfortable on their back throw this entire game, entire series, to have to press out. D-Floody ended up with a demo. They wish they'd rather had that ball. Now it's up to Carthage if they want to end out this series to do it here in the next little bit. Flair with a challenge. You're going to already call up the name of Nyrome as they're trying to just go home with the dub. 10 seconds to go here, Bear.
And now they're pressing again. Guchu again, the shutdown man, has been a solid third for this team, but for how long? Now that shot off the crossbar, Pixlr comes through, and with 3 seconds left, Carthage on top.
Call my boy Pixlr Moltres because this player is legendary. Always able to just have it keyed up and ready to go from his teammate. Carthage will not be denied. 3 seconds left. They've got to dig it out. Not just heart and in hand, but into the back of the net of Carthage. What a deny. Drops to the grass, and they will be 3-0 in week 3.
Man, Carthage here in the Midwest Division said, oh, I'm going to squeak by you. They're in game.